relations. During the tea time, luckily I got a very important informations with regard to the appointment of the governors so far that we had. It's a number theory, the title is. And they have said a database of governors in India. And it was written by Nishant Ranjan. And he says, until today, we had 843 governors so far. 843 governors have been appointed till today. And he tries to analyze during the tenure of different governments. And during the Indira Gandhi's regime, she has appointed the highest number of governors. During her regime, 168 governors have been appointed. 168 governors. And during the present regime, we have 160 governors being appointed by the present government. And Manmohan Singh, it's 119. During Nehru period, it is 88. Vajpayee periods, it is 82. Rajiv Gandhi, 64. P.V. Narasimha Rao, 61. V.P. Singh, 33. Morarji Desai, 19. Chandrasekhar,
Banjara Black
14.
Mehndi Kodi.
So what this denotes? And he also gives the information on from which states the appointments have been made. And he argues here that Rajasthan has seen the highest number of gubernatorial appointments in India. He argues, since governors do not have a fixed term, it is interesting to track how many governors have been there in each state in India. Rajasthan has had a total of 45 governors appointed, making it the state with the most appointments. It is followed by Odisha with 43 governors and Bihar with 42. Among the major states, Uttar Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh and Gujarat have had 28, 27 and 25 respectively, while Haryana has had 18 governors so far. It is important to note that the timing of first appointments varies by state. Gujarat was established as an independent state in 1960, as we all know. Likewise, this study focuses that how in India, the office of the gubernatorial posts have been appointed. And he also brings into it only 4.5 of governors have been women. 68% are Hindu upper caste. And he gives the graph, share of different socio-religious groups in the database. General 67.85, OBC 9.25, Muslim 8.9, Women 4.51, SC 4.15, Sikh 4.03, Christian 3.2, ST 1.07, Parsi 0.71, Sikh SC 0.36, Jew 0.24, ST Christian 0.24. So why I wanted to share this information to my young friends is to know how the appointments are being made and how the Indian polity is being made to function. I will go to the last part of the recent trend, that is multi-party character of the opposition. Today, we have the multi-party character of the opposition. That means to say that we don't have the single party being recognized as the opposition party. And in the 17th Lok Sabha, we all know that we functioned without opposition leader. We functioned without opposition leader. Democracy without opposition leader. Therefore, let us look into the deficit of the democracy today. The democracy index classified Indian democracy as a flawed democracy. This was appeared in The Economist. This says that the score dropped from 7.92 in 2014, and in 2020 it again went down to 6.61. Its global ranking slipped from 27 to 53rd among 167 countries surveyed in 2020. This is a very important area where we have to look into the deficit being caused by the democratic forces. The tendency would like to say that the mounting pressure on India's democratic norms and the democratic backsliding by the authorities and crackdowns on civil liberties. So we have to carefully overcome this deficit scenario. And for this, to overcome how we can make our democracy to have a worthy existence. For this, the parameters which we would like to look today is we are on the verge of becoming a society with oligopolistic control of the economy by a few large corporates. This is a very serious concern where we have to be very cautious in building the future of the democratic world. We are seeing the increase of the wealth and that increase is being concentrated only with few. The public institutions, including the banking, have been paralyzed because of the nexus that they have. And the quality of the members being elected and their contribution to the political culture and the political socialization and the interest that they claim has to be seriously
online class.
has to be seriously looked into. Please,
ಇವತ್ತು ಗಾಡಿ ತಗೊಂಡೋಗಿಲ್ಲ.
please, madam. Ambujakshi.
Sir, sorry, sir.
I think you are in the bus.
Sorry, sir.
You're traveling.
Yes, sir. Going home.
Going home.
Sorry, sir. Sorry for disturbance. Sorry, sir. Yes, sir.
I hope with this, the first part of my lecture would end here. And if you all any questions, please, you're free to ask. If you want to add, you're also free to add. Yes. I think I have given you the platform to think and act. Because as Noam Chomsky, the American scholar, has said that the silence of the people is the strength of the politician. And I want the political science fraternity to take up the responsibility of putting the democratic ethos on the right track. Because Plato, Aristotle, during the ancient Greeks, they made the Greek city-states to be on the right track. And Machiavelli, in his Prince, he portrayed the political mind of the leader. And our constitutional forefathers have created a path wherein the democratic pillars should give protection and should have the interest of disseminating the constitutional principles to the people of India. With this, I stop my first lecture Before I start the second on the Dalit leadership, I want my fellow friends to have an interaction with me. I will take one or two questions from the participants' side before I move on to the second lecture.
ಹಲೋ ಸರ್,
ಹೇಳಿ.
ನಾವು ಈ ಚಾಲೆಂಜಸ್ ಅನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳಿದ್ವಿ, ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಬಟ್ ಆ ಚಾಲೆಂಜಸ್ ಇಂದ ಹೊರಬರುವಂತದ್ದು ಹೇಗೆ ಸರ್? ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈಗ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಅದು, ಬಟ್ ಆ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ರೀಚ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟಿಕಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಷ್ಟ.
Good question. How to make our students to realize?
ಇವನ್ ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ಗಳು ಅದ್ರ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಇವಾಗ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಏನೋ ಅದ್ರ ಪ್ರಕಾರನೇ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ರೀತಿ ಆದ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸೇರಿಸಿಕೊಂಡು ಆ ರೀತಿ ನಾವು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಅವಾಗ ಅಂಗಡಿ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, ಬರೀ ಏನು ಬೋಧನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ.
ಪ್ಲೇಟೋ, ಅರಿಸ್ಟಾಟಲ್ ಬೋಧನೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು, ಬುದ್ಧನು ಬೋಧನೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು.
ಹೌದು,
ಎಲ್ಲ ಉಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿದಾರಲ್ಲ, ನೀವ್ ಯಾಕೆ ಉಳ್ಕೊಳಕ್ ಆಯ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ? ತರಗತಿ ಒಳಗೆ ಉಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಸಾಕು. ತರಗತಿ ಒಳಗೆ ಉಳ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಆಗ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಉಳಿದಿದೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಭಾವನೆ ನಮಗೆ ವ್ಯಕ್ತವಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಈಗ ನೀವು ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ರಿ, ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ ಮಾಡೋರು ಯಾರು ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಈಗ ನಿಮ್ಗೆಲ್ಲ ಯಾಕೆ ಈ ತರದ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ಭಾಗವಹಿಸಕ್ಕೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ?
ಅದೇ ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ
ಅಲ್ವಾ? ನಾವ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗತ್ತೆ. ನಾವು ಇನ್ನೂ ಏನ್ ಕಲಿಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನಮಗೆ ಆದಿ ಗೋಚರವಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಆಮೇಲೆ ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಿ ಸರ್, ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಟ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸು. ಆ ಟ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ಹೊರಬರಕ್ ಆದಿನೇ ಹೇಳಿಲ್ವಲ್ಲ ನೀವು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಿ. ಆದಿ ನಾವು ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ. ನಾನು ಯಾಕೆ ಗವರ್ನರ್ಸ್ ಅಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಗಳದ್ದು ಇಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ಎಷ್ಟಾಯ್ತು, ಯಾರ್ಯಾರಿಗಾಯ್ತು ಅಂತ ಯಾಕೆ ತಂದೆ ನಾನು ಅದನ್ನ? ನಮ್ಮ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಮೊದಲು ಸರಿಯಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ನಮ್ಮ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಮೊದಲು ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ಅಲ್ವಾ?
ಆರೋಗ್ಯವಂತ ಚಿಂತನೆಗಳಿರ್ಬೇಕು ಸರ್.
ಆರೋಗ್ಯವಂತ ಚಿಂತನೆಗಳು ಇರಬೇಕು ಸರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ನಾವೇ ಆರೋಗ್ಯವಾಗಿಲ್ವಲ್ಲ. ಯಾರೋ ಒಬ್ರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಸರ್, ಓದಿರೋರೇ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಕಾಸ್ಟಿಸಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಓದುವವರಿಗೆ ಆ ರೀತಿಯಾದಂತ ವಿವೇಚನೆಯನ್ನ ಕಟ್ಟುಕೊಡುವಲ್ಲಿ ವಿಫಲವಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ. ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ವಿವೇಚನೆನ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು. ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕು? ರ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಅನ್ನ ಬಿಲ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಲ್ವಾ? ಈಗ ನೀವು ಇದರಿಂದ ಹೊರಬರಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನೋ ಭಾವನೆಗೆ ಬರ್ಬೋದು. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಕಲ್ಟಿವೇಶನ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಇಸ್ ದಿ ಎಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಎಕ್ಸಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್. ಕಲ್ಟಿವೇಶನ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಇಸ್ ದಿ ಎಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಎಕ್ಸಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಈಗ ಇದು ನಮ್ಗೆಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತು. ನಮ್ಮ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಬಯಸಿದ ಪ್ರಜಾಪ್ರಭುತ್ವವನ್ನ ನಾವು ಏನಪ್ಪಾ? ಹಲೋ, ಮಾತಾಡಿ. ಎಸ್ ಮಲ್ಲಿಕಾರ್ಜುನ್ ಹೇಳಿ. So the way should be created by ourselves. Gandhi created the way, the freedom path. Ambedkar created the way of inclusive path. People who are walking on this path, we have to create the committed individual to walk on this path. How to create is a big question for us. From time immemorial, this question hangs on everybody. You read the history, the world history, the great civilizations. They have taught us how to overcome such situations. And the path for this impasse is, we as a civil society should be strong. In most of the democratic countries, this civil society has a space. In India, the civil society is existing, but it should have more voice. And who should give the voice for that? It is people like us. Because public consciousness is very important for democracy. What is public consciousness? Public consciousness is a conscious where wrong exists. You have to question. If there is any injustice, though that injustice doesn't directly affect you, but the public conscious mind certainly will resist. So popular resistance will make democracy more vibrant. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಟ್ರೆಂಡ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಸರಿಪಡಿಸ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮೊಳಗೆ ಒಂದು ಜಾಗೃತಿ ಮೂಡಬೇಕು. ಆ ಜಾಗೃತಿ ಮೂಡಿದಾಗ ಮಾತ್ರ ಈ ರೆಸಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತೀವಲ್ಲ ನಾವು, ಅದನ್ನು ವಿರೋಧಿಸುವ, ಅದನ್ನು ಸರಿಪಡಿಸುವ ಮನೋಭಾವನೆಗಳ ಮನಸ್ಸುಗಳನ್ನ ನಾವು ಕಟ್ಟಬೇಕು. ಆಗ ಇವೆಲ್ಲವೂ ನಮಗೆ ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣವಾಗಿ ತೊಡಗಾಗ್ತಾ ಹೋದ್ರೂ ಅಲ್ಲಲ್ಲಿ ಎಚ್ಚರಿಸುವ ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನ ಮಾಡುವ ಹಾಗೆ ಆಗತ್ತೆ. ಐ ಹೋಪ್ ಅಂಬುಜಾಕ್ಷಿ, you have understood how to make your students to realize many of the examples. ನಮ್ಮ ರಾಜ್ಯದ ನಿಜಲಿಂಗಪ್ಪನವರು, ಅವರು ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಂಟ್ ಅಸೆಂಬ್ಲಿ ಮೆಂಬರ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದವರು, ನಮ್ಮ ರಾಜ್ಯದ ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿ ಆಗಿದ್ದವರು. ಅವ್ರ ಮನೆಯದು ಚಿತ್ರದುರ್ಗದ ಅವ್ರ ಮನೆಯದು ಟೆಲಿಫೋನ್ ಬಿಲ್ ಕಟ್ಟದೆ ಫೋನ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಲೈನ್ ಬಂದ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತದೆ. ಆಗ ಅದನ್ನ ತಿಳಿದು ಯಾರಿಗೋ ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಅದು ಬಂದಾಗಿದೆ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಅಂದಾಗ ಅದನ್ನ ಬಿಲ್ ಕಟ್ತಾರೆ ಒಬ್ರು. ಆ ಬಿಲ್ ಕಟ್ಟದೆ ಆಗ ಇವ್ರಿಗೆ ಫೋನ್ ಬಂದಾಗ ಇವ್ರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇವ್ರಿಗೆ ಯಾವುದೋ ನಮ್ದು ಕಟ್ಟದೆ ಹೋಗಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಬಿಲ್ಲು, ಫೋನು ಬರ್ತಿರ್ಲಿ ಈಗ ಬಂದಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ವಿಚಾರಿಸ್ತಾರೆ ಯಾರು ಇಂಥವ್ರು ಕಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆಗ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಕರೆಸಿ ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ ದುಡ್ಡು ಕಟ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ ಬಿಲ್ ಕಟ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ ದುಡ್ಡು ಇರಲ್ಲ, ಆ ದುಡ್ಡನ್ನ ಮುಂದಿನ ತಿಂಗಳು ಬರ್ತದೆ ದುಡ್ಡು ನನಗೆ ನನ್ನ ಪಿಂಚಣಿ ಒಳಗೆ, ಅದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಕರೆಸಿ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಆ ಮಾಡೆಲ್ ಇದೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಮರಾಜ್, ಅಣ್ಣಾದುರೈ, ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ನಮ್ಮ ನೈಬರಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಸ್ ನೋಡಿ ಎಂತೆಂಥ ಲೀಡರ್ಸ್ಗಳಿದ್ರು. ಲಾಲ್ ಬಹದ್ದೂರ್ ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರಿ, ಎ ಬಿ ವಾಜಪೇಯಿ. So we should produce the models. We should produce the models. ನಮ್ಮ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಒಬ್ಬನ ಆ ಥರದ ಮಾಡೆಲ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ತಯಾರಿ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ವಾ? ಆಗುತ್ತೋ ಆಗಲ್ವಾ? ಮಾತಾಡ್ರಿ. ಸುಜಾತಾ, ಯು ಆರ್ ಲಾಫಿಂಗ್.
ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಸರ್, ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಸರ್.
ಎಸ್, ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಒಬ್ಬ ಪ್ರಾಮಾಣಿಕ ಮತದಾರನಾರು ತಯಾರಿ ಮಾಡಿ. ಏನಮ್ಮ ಎಲ್ಲ ನೆಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲ, ಯಾಕೆ ಸರ್ ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ ಕೈಲಿ ಅಂತ ಒಪ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀರಾ?
ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್,
ಈಗಿನ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾಮಾಣಿಕತೆ ಹುಡುಕದೇ ಆಗತ್ತೆ ಸರ್.
ಸರ್ ಚುನಾವಣೆಗಳು ಬಂತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸರ್ ಮಕ್ಳುಗಳು ಕಾಲೇಜಲ್ಲೇ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಅವರು ಕೂಡ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ವಸ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಸರ್.
ಹೌದು, ಪೊಲಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ಬಿಡಿ, ಕಲಿಸಿ ಪೊಲಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ಕಲಿಯಿರಿ ಅಲ್ವಾ?
ಹೌದು ಸರ್, ಹೌದು.
ಪೊಲಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ ಅದು?
ಸರ್ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಅವರು ಹೋಗ್ಲಿ ಸರ್, ಸಂತೋಷ, ಪೊಲಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ದುಡ್ಡು ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ ಸರ್. ಇವನ್ ನಮ್ ಕಾಲೇಜಲ್ಲೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಎಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಬಂತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇರಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಎಲ್ಲ ಕ್ಯಾಂಪೇನಿಂಗ್ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ ಸರ್.
ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯೂತ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ವಾಲ್ವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ ಮೋರ್.
ಎಸ್ ಸರ್.
It's a healthy sign. But how they are involved is very important. And how
Morality
they are
ಹೋಗ್-
used is also important.
ಅಂಡ್ ಅವ್ರು ರೈಟ್ ವೇ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದಾರ, ಅದು ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಸರ್.
ಅದನ್ನೇ how they are used ಅನ್ನೋದು ಅದೇನೆ.
ಸರ್ ನಾವು ಚುನಾವಣೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ PRO ಗಳ ಹೋದಾಗ ಸರ್,
ಹ್ಮ್.
ಮತದಾನದ ಪ್ರಮಾಣ ಸರ್ 4 ಗಂಟೆವರೆಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವರೇಜ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಸರ್, ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ 4 ಗಂಟೆ ಮೇಲೆ ವೋಟರ್ಸ್ ಗಳಿಗೆ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಒಂದು ಅದೇ ಪ್ರಜಾಪ್ರಭುತ್ವ ದುರಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೂ ಏನು ತಪ್ಪಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ವೋಟರ್ಸ್ ಗಳಿಗೆ ದುಡ್ಡು ಕೊಟ್ಟರು ಮಾತ್ರ ನಾವು ವೋಟ್ ಹಾಕ್ಬೇಕು ಎನ್ನುವಂತ ಮನೋಭಾವನೆ ಇತ್ತೀಚಿನ ದಿನಗಳು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗಿದೆ ಸರ್.
Okay.
ಸೊ ಆ ನಂತರ ಇವರೆಲ್ಲ ಹೋಗಿ ಅವ್ರು ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದೇ ಸಲ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಸರ್. ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ವೋಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟೇಜ್ ಮೊದಲು 5 ಗಂಟೆವರೆಗೂ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇತ್ತು, 5 ಗಂಟೆ ಮೇಲೆ ರ್ಯಾಷನ್ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ಸರ್. ಈ ರೀತಿಯಾದಂತ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಥಮಿಕವಾದಂತ ವರದಿಗಳು ನಮ್ ಕಣ್ಮುಂದೆನೇ ಇವೆ ಸರ್.
ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು? ಕಣ್ಣು ಮುದ್ದೆ ಇದೆ ಅನ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಕೂತ್ಕೋಬೇಕಾ? For every problem there is a solution. Yes. ಒಂದು ಚುನಾವಣೆ ನಡೆಸಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ವಾರ್ ಫುಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಕಡೆ ಚೆಕ್ ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ಗಳು ಇರ್ತವೆ. ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಇದ್ರೂ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಣದ ಪ್ರಭಾವ ನಡೀತದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಎಂಥವ್ರು ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ ಇರೋದು ಎಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೆ ನಾವು ಕೊಡುವರವರೇ ನಾವ್ಯಾಕೆ ಈಸ್ಕೋಬಾರದು ಅನ್ನೋ ಮನೋಭಾವನೆ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಅದಿರ್ತದೋ ಅಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ಬೆಲೆ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಈಗ ದಿ ನೀಡ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಅವರ್ ಇಸ್ ವಿ ಶುಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಲ್ ರಿಫಾರ್ಮ್ಸ್. ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಲ್ ರಿಫಾರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಲಿಪ್ ಸಿಂಪತಿ ರಿಫಾರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲ. We should bring in revolutionary reforms. But who are talking about this? Only a few people in the name of civil society. They spoke. It is because of this reason only we are living in plutocratic polity, wherein the capitalist, wherein the flow of money dictates everything. So therefore, the essence of today's lecture is to make all of us realize that democracy is the best form of government. We should make the best form of government by electing the best representatives. It's all with having a matured citizens who can rationally think, who can judge judiciously. We should keep hope on the electorates. So our purpose is to educate the people. And this would definitely give us the result. Though not tomorrow, but definitely we have hope that the challenges can be overcome. With this, I stop the first lecture and I'll take up the second lecture on the Dalit leadership, which is very important because I never touched in the inclusive polity in the first lecture, deliberately because of the second lecture. We know in India, the caste-ridden society is strong. And one of our participants, she has clearly said that the educated are more casteist. Keeping this as the starting point of my second lecture, we have to seriously look into the history of the annihilation of the caste. The annihilation of the caste. The scholars, the reformers, and the leaders who lived above the caste can only visualize the dream of casteless society. Starting from the days of Buddha to the making of the constitution, we know the journey being performed in the Indian society. We have the dark shade of the history. And to erase this dark shade, to have a social transformation, we thought of having a democratic constitution wherein we can bring the social change. Friends, I want everyone to be very serious. Some are traveling, some are physically being looked here. If you're not serious, don't attend. You can skip. I don't matter it. What is the fun in having the online? While traveling, you can make use of this lecture. You're all participants, you're all teachers. And we talk of correcting the democracy when we can't correct ourselves. How can we correct this society? This is too bad. As a teacher, be punctual. Be disciplined. I'm not here for the simple reason. With a purpose, I'm here. And I want that purpose to be fulfilled. You're all being highly paid. The society expects more from you. When you have joined this course, be serious. Those who are serious, they can skip. I don't want symbolic representation here. You're talking about a serious issue. We are all meant to correct this society. We are all here to prepare our new generations to accept the leadership. Don't make me to lose my temper. So this caste-ridden society is the basic threat for the inclusive society to become active. And I was talking about the annihilation of caste. Can anyone say some of the books which speak about the annihilation of caste? Have you read in your lifetime about the annihilation of caste? Bhagyeshwari, I'm seeing for the first time now, the fag end of the day. Unmute your system and speak.
I'm present, sir.
You're present now.
No, sir, in whole day.
Have you come across any of the books on caste system?
Sir, I know some of the books. I have not read in thoroughly, sir.
But you know the books.
Yes, sir.
Without entering into the art of the book, you've
Yes, sir.
seen the books.
Yes, sir.
Can you name some of them?
Ambedkar books, Annihilation of Caste.
Wonderful. It's a very small book, very authoritative writing.
Yes, sir.
Very authoritative writing. If you read that book, Annihilation of Caste, that is the way to strengthen the democracy. That is the only way to have the democratic living. That is the only way to have the associated living. That is the only way to have social democracy. I don't want talks in between, please. I'm running shortage of time. Within 20 minutes, I should sum up. ಯಾರ್ರೀ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರವರು? So the annihilation of caste speaks about the India's society, and it is the guideline for the democratic society to be created. The Dalit leadership in India is a challenging one. When the great leader, the greatest humanitarian, Dr. Ambedkar, entered into the public scene, the question of caste became more important. Because he, in his writings, has highlighted the root cause of the sufferings. When Buddha highlighted the root cause for the sufferings of mankind, Baba Sahib highlighted the sufferings of the people in the name of caste to make India a transformed reality. Until the entry of Dr. Ambedkar into Indian polity, caste was not so important. Caste was important, but as Baba Sahib wanted to annihilate as an important program, no other leaders so vehemently put forth their stand on annihilating the caste system. For Ambedkar, why caste was so important to be annihilated? Because he underwent the agony. He underwent the encounters. Therefore, he wanted to liberate his men and the nation from the clutches of the draconian system. Then how he did? That's an important thing for making the Dalit leadership to emerge in the Indian polity. The great debate between Gandhi and Ambedkar way back in 1930s and 32, it became more clear what Gandhi wanted and how Baba Sahib sacrificed. So this history, the great debate between Gandhi and Ambedkar with regard to the theory of representation, when Baba Sahib was for separate electorate, when Gandhi wanted to nullify it, he underwent an epic fast, as he himself claimed. And unwillingly, Baba Sahib has to sacrifice the separate electorate, which he got through his struggles from the Britishers. So from 1932, with the Pune Pact, the first general election under the 1935 Act was in 1937. And in 1937, we had Baba Sahib's political party in the name of Independent Labour Party, which was started in 1936. Not even a year in the forefront of the 1937 elections. This political party, Independent Labour Party, emerged as the opposition party in the Bombay presidency. So this, we have to seriously look into it. How Independent Labour Party, floated by Baba Sahib, could emerge as a strong opposition party in 1937 election and the Bombay presidency. This speaks about the leadership of Baba Sahib. So I would like to draw the inference of Dalit leadership from Dr. Baba Sahib. How he was successful in floating a new party, getting more seats, acting as a opposition party in the Bombay presidency. And this party could win the candidates from the general constituencies, apart from the reserve category. So this Dalit leadership, which originated in 1937, despite of the constraints that developed due to Pune Pact, Ambedkar's political party, a new political party, which brought in the labor class together, which sent a signal to the Indian polity that despite of the existence of the Communist Party of India, under the leadership of Baba Saheb, the working class people supported Baba Saheb. A man who wanted to annihilate the caste, a man who wanted to bring equality, liberty, and fraternity as the fundamental principles of every Indian, was successful in the first part itself. But his journey after 1937, when he took up the membership of Viceroy's Executive Council from 1942 to 46, and later on the making of the Constitution, and later on in 1952 elections, he had Scheduled Caste Federation, which was not successful. So the first part, the Independent Labour Party, a successful party, which was wind up in place of Scheduled Caste Federations, which could not be successful. And later on, after his Mahaparinirvan, we had the Republican Party of India. And even that Republican Party of India could also not make more inroads on Indian polity. But with the advent of Kanshirram, in the name of Bahujan Samaj, the Dalit leadership started to regain its strength. And Kanshirram, who was an employee of the government of India, who left and who mobilized the backward classes, the minorities, the Dalits, and who started to make an alternative polity in the Indian democratic system, keeping Baba Saheb's model, who for the first time in the entire nation tried to bring in the exploited mass under the fold of polity, was itself a great movement in the post-colonial period. And this was possible because of Kanshirram, who was a committed leader, who had the strength of taking together, who remained as a spokesperson of the voiceless after Baba Saheb. And his Bahujan Samaj Party, it created a new era in the subaltern studies and in the post-colonial polity of our nation. And his movement, it took Baba Saheb, it took Mahatma Jyotiba Phule, Savitribai Phule, and other backward classes leaders' thoughts to the people. And it was not only a political engineering, but also social and educational engineering. And Kanchiram was successful in making the political, the social, and the educational impact on the voiceless classes of the society. And he could produce a great leaders in different states. And the voice of the Dalits started to be more articulative in Indian polity. We have the contemporary of Baba Saheb, Babu Jagjivan Ram, who went up to the Deputy Prime Minister position. So there was a space for the Dalit polity to make an inroad into the Indian polity in the post-colonial period. And for this, even the Dalit movement, it shaped the Dalit polity. Because Dalit movement, it had the power of creating an alternative to Congress, alternative to the ruling regime. Dalit movement, it took up the alternatives for the betterment of the people. So leadership through movement is seen when we talk about the Dalit leadership. A Dalit leader who is shaped in post-colonial period is from the background of the movement. So movement gave the strength of becoming a leader. It gave the strength to address the issues. It gave the strength to talk in the common platform. So Dalit leadership at the national level started to emerge. Sensitizing the leadership of Dalit was the hallmark of Ghanshyam's movement. He had the networking of the Dalit movement throughout the nation. And he expanded it, which was confined, and he removed the confine and he brought in the expansion culture. And it is because of that only in Uttar Pradesh, the alternative party emerged. And he was successful there. In a big state like Uttar Pradesh, the model which Ghanshyam framed, it gave its result. And for 4 times, Mayawati was the chief minister of Uttar Pradesh. But when the party took up the decision of going with the non-secular group, the hint of becoming shading away started. The Ghanshyam movement which shaped was very powerful, but it was short-lived. It was short-lived. Why it was short-lived? Why it could not be made to continue for a longer period? This is the vicinity of the problem of the Dalit leadership. Here we have to look into the crux of the problem. Why today in India, Dalit leadership is weak? Is someone who can contest my statement here? Raj Praveen? I'm saying that today Dalit leadership is weak. Can you contest this? If you can't contest, then it means to say that you all agree that today Dalit leadership is weak. At national level, we don't have the Dalit leadership. I hope you all agree with this.
Yes, sir, I agree.
You agree?
Yeah.
You came home?
Yes, sir. Thank you for.
So you agree. Why you agree? Because there is no one is there. A vacuum has been created.
Okay, sir.
Then where is the model of Dr. Ambedkar, Kanshiram and others? We have to correctly diagnose the Indian polity nature. When Baba Sahib wanted to seek entry into the Constituent Assembly, what happened to him? And why Baba Sahib could not enter into Lok Sabha twice? You have to trace this history here. The nature of Indian polity, how it works. So in a caste-ridden society, that is the reason why Baba Sahib said, I will defend democracy only when we establish casteless society. I will defend democracy only when we establish casteless society. So now we can't defend because casteless society has not been a reality today. We have not established casteless society. We have failed in establishing casteless society. So therefore, the Dalit leadership is weak. That is the reason I agree with this. But with this situation, how are you going to make Indian democracy an inclusive democracy in true meaning? Not only in the namesake, in the practical sense. How can you make India an inclusive polity? You can trace from the first cabinet to the present how the portfolios are being distributed, how the political appointments have been made. And what is the place of the subaltern groups in Indian polity? And today caste is becoming more stronger and stronger. We are going for the caste census. We want to know our position. We want to know our number. So number game is the hallmark today. And each caste wants its base to be strong. So this is a serious challenge to the working of the Indian polity. Because we wanted democracy in terms of values. Democracy itself is a value. And if we add the groups which are undemocratic, then democracy will lose its values. And our constitutional forefathers and our freedom fighters wanted this nation to be liberated from all sorts of oppressions. And at the all India level, we're not seeing the subaltern groups as leaders. And what about the women now? We are having Nari Shakti Adhiniyam. And some of you can easily seek an entry into the polity of our nation. It will be a cakewalk for us, for you people. Because you're all political scientists. You'll be getting the constituencies marked for yourself. So be prepared for this. After the census, in the next election, we will be having Nari Shakti Adhiniyam in the parliament. For that, you should prepare yourself. How to make use of this act. And this Adhiniyam has caste also there. How many seats has to be reserved for the women belonging to scheduled caste and scheduled tribes? And men folk should sacrifice for women. They should sacrifice their seats. And after the delimitation, we'll be having more number. But South India will lose the numbers, will not gain more. Only the North India will get more seats because of the delimitation, wherein the South Indians have strictly followed the family planning. They have limited the size of the family, and thereby the delimitation will be affected on them. So Dalit leadership is at the crossroad today, whether in the state or in the national level. What is its state of affair in Maharashtra, where Baba Sahib was a strong leader who comes from Maharashtra? What is Jignesh Bhavani is doing in Gujarat? What is the leadership issue in Rajasthan? What is the strength of Mayawati in Uttar Pradesh? And today, what is the state of affair of Dalit leadership in our state? What is the state of affair of our Dalit leadership in our state? Can anyone throw a light on Dalit leadership of our state? Again, I will rely upon Raj Praveen. Raj Praveen?
Yes, sir. It needs much to be desired, sir. It's going not in the proper direction, as
Yeah.
far as I understand it.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's not in the proper direction. That is the reason why I use it in the crossroad.
Yes.
See, we had great leaders in our state. We had Basulingappa. We had K.H. Rangnath. We had N. Rajaya. Such towering personalities. They not only made their community to be proud by their acts, but also they stood for the cause. And today the Congress is headed by a Dalit leader. The ACC president is from our state.
Yes.
And how can you say that it is in the crossroad? We have a big band from our state. So Karnataka has produced great leaders. It has produced great leaders. We had in Mysore area, we had Senor Prasad. We are having Madevappa here. If you go to the tribal community, we have Jarkiwali family. So Karnataka, in the name of inclusive polity, stands top. Because we had the backward classes leaders as chief ministers who projected the subaltern class. And we had in our state the powerful movement in the name of Dalit movement, in the peasant movement, women movement, progressive movements. They have influenced the Karnataka politics. Therefore, no doubt there is a vacuum, but we should not feel that there is no one. In fact, Karnataka has sent great leaders. We had B. Shankarananda, who was a long-standing central minister from Belgaum, a Dalit. So Karnataka has given great leaders. And the Dalit leadership today has to be strengthened by the experiments made by Baba Saheb, Kanshiram, because they gave the experiments which Kanshiram did, which Baba Saheb did in the name of Independent Labour Party, and subsequently other political parties. And why today vacuum exit is because we are unable to produce people like Baba Saheb, people like Kanshiram, people like Basulingappa. At the same time, there is also a reason why the Dalit leadership has not been strong, because of the community. The community is, the political vigilant community has to be more, it has to have more strength. And today, as we all know, that in the name of subcaste, how the caste has been making more and more vigorous. So therefore, as political science students, we have more role to play in the social coherence to make an Indian democracy to be on the strictly constitutional spirit. With this,